see. Oh, on Monday we have a Global Futures Forum. Monday. 4 scenarios of what, Hani? 4 scenarios of yeah. 9
Democracy.
Yeah, 4 scenarios of democracy.
In what? In Indonesia.
Indonesia. Who's the speaker here? And
From
Usul. Oh, from Usul.
Sumatera Utara.
It's a researcher who has been also went to the States.
Okay, bro. Yeah.
Alright, we're ready.
Okay, Bismillah.
Bismillah means in the name of God. So that
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
God most gracious, most merciful.
Yeah. Okay. Today I'm gonna to present my final discussion for my thesis titled "The Phenomena of Paternalism, the Contestations within Political Modernity of Shia Iraq," under supervision Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Rabani al-Bastami. Scroll down. So, the contents will go with this introduction. Here are RQ and RO. Social review, methodology, key findings, contributions, future studies.
Okay. Are you comfortable sitting down or standing up?
Standing up.
Which one are you more comfortable?
Okay.
Which one are you more comfortable?
I don't know. I mean, in the Bible, I cannot stand up.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
It's okay. You're small there.
Otherwise, I stand up.
Alright.
No, it's
Yeah, that's good.
okay. Go down. So introduction. I want to introduce some summary. So what does mean paternalism? So paternalism mean it's referred to the father first of all in Greek dictionary. So that means when the government or individual or company restrict your freedom or take decision behalf of you for your interests, but against your will. That means paternalism in summary somehow. So when I want to apply this paternalism in the Shia of Iraq, so I won't go down to the deep history in our culture, it's Arab culture I mean. So in Arab culture we have this is theorem, we use wilaya and wali. So wilaya is the adjective and wali is the noun or the name. So wilaya mean father, husband, older brother, grandfather, the leader of tribe can restrict you, take decision behind of you for your own good without your willing. But in that way, all the people will accept that because the culture, this culture of people, everybody is accept about that. So, wilaya, when the Islam came to Arab nations, so Islam not so far from the Arab culture, so they use their language, their term. So the wilaya converted to Islam theology, that means Allah, the God, is the wali for all the creation, and the messenger, who is a prophet, is also has the same authority to have decision on the people, and the people should obey the messenger. In the same time, messenger, he is good for you, he is mercy for all the world. So all the decision take from messenger is the mercy for you. So the same idea is converted to after Muhammad the prophet, after the prophethood, go to the Khilafah. So that means the Khalifa, the leader of Islam, the Islamic State in that time, also have the same authority. The same thing is converted to the Imamate theory for the Shia, 12 Shia in Iraq and around the world. So they believe Muhammad the Prophet and 12 Imam, the descendants of Muhammad the Prophet, have the same authority. So they can take decision, restrict your freedom, you should obey them for your own good. And also at the same time they are mercy for you and benevolence. So with the Shia theology, the theory Imamate is finished the 3rd century of Hijrah Islamic calendar. So when the Imamate finished, and this is Imamate finished, sorry, I will adjust this is a slide later. The authority converted to the jurist. The jurist we call Marja'iyya or Ayatollah is like a monk, is like a religious leader. They have authority, but not complete authority as the Imamate has, but he worked as agent for theology, agent for Imam. So he also used religious law to restrict you, take decision behind of you with the necessary situation, and you will accept that, obey that, because the Marja'iyya or Ayatollah or religious leader, he just take care about you and for your own good. Good. So calm down. So with that introduction, we will go to the problem statement here. So with the problem statement, first of all, with the gap in the literature review, we don't have a study applied the paternalism on the Ayatollah system or the paternal thought, social paternal thought for Shia 12. So this is first study I will try to apply this concept on this phenomena or a human perspective. So the second one, with this culture, we have contestation with political modernity. So you know political modernity came to establish democracy, establish liberalism. This is contradict with the culture of paternalism, the wilaya, the religious leader. For this reason, we have contestation with them. How can we fix this contestation? Also in this study, we can try to fix this problem. So until we can fix this problem, we have the 3 research questions. What are the key changes through the different period in Iraqi history vis-a-vis paternalism? What are the different generative mechanisms at work in each of these periods, and what the process that have manifested in connection with each of these generative mechanisms, and research objective reflects the research question. Scroll down, please. So with literature review, as I explained in the introduction, what's mean paternalism, we go paternalism in this way, of course, is verse of liberalism. So paternalism restricts liberalism. So it's always there's contestation between them. Which one should be controlled as other, and which one can work which such a situation. So until I can use paternalism, I need to normative paternalism. To restrict your freedom, I need to justify why I can use this authority against you. Why? So that's I should give reason to persuade you that decision, restrict your freedom, is good for your own, to prevent harm you. So in this way, the scholars divided paternalism to soft and hard paternalism. Soft paternalism, working with children, with insane people. But hard paternalism, they work with the adults, with the mature people. So
Insane people.
insane and sane. Yeah. So insane, soft paternalism, insane, and hard paternalism, sane. Yeah. Also, we have hard paternalism go with the sometimes authoritarianism and sometimes benevolence. So, for example, if some government they use hard paternalism as authoritarianism paternalism, so they will have strict social restrictions or restrict your freedom and the power. So you will feel there's no freedom with this government. But the government, they have their own reason to use this policy. But we have also benevolence. So benevolence means passion, mercy, paternalism, so you will accept, despite this is person or government or situation or a company restrict you, but you will feel it's okay. Because what? Because they feel with you in the good way or kind, or they care about you. But also we have paternalism with, as you said, with the government and society, and also we have religious paternalism, as this study shows us here, about speech paternalism or benevolence with the religions, or sometimes they use religious law against you. Go scroll down. So with the literature for 12 Shia, as I said, so this is the theology of Shia. They believe in five factors. The first of all, they believe in monotheistic, one God, and this is one God. He is justice, and at the same time, He was hereafter. We will die. We will go to God, and God mercy. So, what is the representative of God on the earth? Prophethood, Muhammad the Prophet. The Shia believe the Prophet, he is messenger of God, and he sent his message by him. And after Muhammad Prophet died, the authority transferred to Imamate. They descended from Muhammad the Prophet, 12 of one. So when the 12 of one already died and the last one disappeared with the miraculous way, so the authority converted to Mujtahids or Ayatollah, the religious leader, in the 4th century of Hijri calendar. So the Ayatollah, he working his authority according to the theology, so he agent of this theology, and also he used religious law by this methodology. So he used, we call it Usul al-Fiqh. This is methodology of religious law for Ayatollah or religious leader. So Usul al-Fiqh depend on the Quran, the holy book of Islam. The Sunnah means the action of the behavior of the say for Muhammad the Prophet and 12 Imam. Consensus of judgment. If the Mujtahideen agree with something, they will be as a religious law. And the reason, we call ijtihad. So they use if there is no anything with them, they will go to the reason. They will use their mind to deductive religious law for their own, for the people good. Scroll down please. So, at the literature review, how can we make this is a problem or social problem, problem statement in political modernity? So all I explain right now, with Shia, we call this a traditional authority. So, but political modernity, all the literature review, we say the political modernity is a transfer from traditional society to modern society. So that means we will take the authority from traditional authority, and we send this authority to the modern state that is different. So the question here, is the Ayatollah or religious leader, they accept that? Of course no, because they will depend about this authority to pretend this authority. For this reason they accept the political modernity, but modify with their way to be mixed between traditional and modern. Go down please. So for all this, I use this as research methodology to get key findings. I use historical method with the retrospective research strategy. So historical method, we investigating the past event and culture through primary and secondary resources. But with the retrospective research strategy, we revealing generative mechanism. They work or they just generate the event, and the event will show us the social perspective or social structure. So if you go with this is three, talk about the retrospective research strategy. So first of all, we observe the human perspective or social structure, and we will understand that. If we understand in deep and develop understanding, we should go to the retrospective strategy. We go down. We find that the mechanism they generate, this is social perspective. And this mechanism may or may not do events to show us how the people behavior work and how the people thinking. So with this I will explain in the next slide. So this is a retrospective research strategy they use. This is mechanism here. So mechanism they do event. But all of this is lead to the social structure or human perspective. We will understand. So to understand this, if we figure out that, we will understand that already. So if I apply this with the research, with the thesis, we go here with generalization. So generalization of thesis, we will show us the event, the mechanism, the social structure. This is generalization. So incentive, no, this is generalization, sorry. This is generalization. We just show event and as in description or observation in the thesis. With incentive research, the research will focus on the three domain overlap: structure, social structure, mechanism, event. All these theses we will show that for the examiner or for the readers. But the abstract research, this mechanism and social structure. So if we understand the mechanism of society, we'll understand why the people thinking in this way or do behavior in this way. Scroll down, please. Okay, that is data collection and analysis. So historical resource, we will use secondary and literature and also primary as historical resources, and also social media data, and also documents and manuscripts. So data collection through document analysis, observation, and exploratory and research. Data analysis, we will use of course, the research methodology. We will use quantitative, and we will use analysis the theme, and the genetic mechanism that can explain the historical phenomena. So redirection, this is very important. With the redirective research strategy, we always go again to the phenomena and social mechanism. We will understand and we will examine the mechanism always with the study to understand completely this mechanism is true for the social structure or human perspective. Go down, please. So, what is this findings? Number one. So, the established of the Great Marja'iyya in 18th century. So, first of all, the Marja'iyya mean the supreme leader for the 12th Shia. This is the first one, is we call Murtada Ansari. Why the established Marja'iyya established in this century? With the findings in this century, the modernity came to Iraq and Iran, the Iran first of all. So when the modernity came to Iran, the human perspective will change. They will demand for the modern state, liberalism, and this is with rating for this authority, because authority depends on the paternalism and the wilaya and the traditional authority. For this reason, they should not clash with society, and at the same time will maintain their authority. So first of all, the Ayatollah, they have a dependent economy, because they will collect religious tax from people, and also there is a charity for them. We call Oda bequest, support them. So that's first of all, this first mechanism for them. If you have independent economy, you have power. You can maintain your authority. This first of all. The second thing is Islamic paternalism. They have theology, because the people belong to the Islam and belong to the Shia. Say that all people believe in Islam as theology for them, and also believe in Imam theory, and he is agent of this theology for. So this is mechanism for him. Tribal culture, as I said, the tribal culture is very strong in that way, in that time, because people believe on or just accept this behavior as traditional way to have control over family or society by tribe or for husband or for any grandfather. So this type of culture, of course, they will support him because he's a father, spiritual father for all society. And also we have modernity. So modernity is, as we said, this is external mechanism for them. So all this is internal mechanism with modernity came from outside to threaten him. They want to establish a new thing we call as taqlid. So all this is mechanism in this way, and external mechanism, they came with the liberalism. So if the liberalism separate, they will disappear. They don't want to disappear. So what they establish something we call as taqlid. Taqlid is emulation. So this is established this system for people. They said every sin, every individual, a sin, man or woman, should follow the Ayatollah, and they take permission for him for their social life. Marriage, divorce, marriage money, till sometime the political ideology. So this is mechanism leading to this event to establish this is a new thing, marja'iyya for people. So now in the 19th century, the people believe in the marja'iyya as spiritual father, and we should follow the most knowledgeable marja for taqlid, to manage their life for a good way, to prevent their harm and accept their good for them until they go to the heaven and hereafter. Scroll down, please. So thanks to with the 20th century, the first half of the 20th century, so when the marja'iyya become powerful in that time, and at the same time we have modernity also powerful, both. So they clashed between them. So traditional authority clashed with the modernity. So what's happened? Contestation among Ayatollah and the political modernity. So if we go to the layer one, Ayatollah mechanism, constitutional movement, colonialism, as I explained. So for example, we have this is Ayatollah, we call this Naini, and this is Fadlullah Nouri. So if you go to this is because both marja'iyya, and we have marja'iyya now is work as mechanism, but in the 19th century they establish social structure. When they establish, so the people as social structure, so human perspective, they converted later to mechanism to work people, to do event. So this is Ayatollah accept modernity and says, okay, no problem, we can accept this modernity, but what can manage with Ayatollah? So Ayatollah manage, this is modernity, to maintain Islamic law, and we don't go so far with the liberalism. But this is Ayatollah rejected all. He said, we don't need this modernity, we have Islamic law, that's enough for us, and this came from Western, that's different from our situation. So the contestation between two Ayatollah, this happened in Iraq and Iran more as, how can I say that, is go demonstration with people, some people accept, some people reject it, as they follow Ayatollah both, and this lead to changing the government in Iran at that time. The first one accept modernity, the second government will rejected the modernity, and then this affect negatively in Iraq situation at that time, because one of the Ayatollah Naini, he lived in Iraq, in Najaf city. So go down please. So with the findings three, the second half of the 20th century, also this is the same problem. And this time, as yesterday, the Pizarro explained that we have secularism and nationalism from the Western, and we have secularism, yeah, and we have communism from Russia. Communism, yeah. So both of them is separate in Iraq at that time, and the people will accept this is both. Most of them will go with the communism at that time, and at that time the people, especially in the area of majority Shia, they will become communists, belong to the communist party. So that's why they don't follow the Ayatollah anymore, just little, and they will just be opposite of them. And they for this reason they will feel wary about their authority, about their Shia denomination, about the Islamic theology. For this reason, they went to establish Islamic political modernity, as I said. especially at that time we have idea from Egypt, we call Ikhwan Muslimin, established by two writers, Hassan al-Banna and Sayyid Qutb. They want to establish a new Islamic modernity for political. So they will accept that idea but modify this is with the Shia theology. So this is Muhammad Baqir Sadr established the new party in Iraq, we call it the Dawah Party. And this is mixed with the Islamic theology and modernity. So we'll accept modernity but in Islamic way. And they say the Marja'iyah should manage the constitution. So the constitution belongs to Marja'iyah because Marja'iyah will keep the Islamic law and will keep social value to prevent from the harm of liberalism. So we accept modernity but not accept liberalism with federalism. So, but we call Ayatollah Khomeini, this in that time he is in Najaf, he established something we call Wilayat al-Faqih. So, Wilayat al-Faqih of al-Khomeini, he said, so, Marja, like Imam, has absolute authority for government, economy, and individual society. So, he accepts the modernity as the Iran right now working. They have the election, we have two parties, we have institutions, and also, but at the same time, the last decision belongs to the Ayatollah. So Ayatollah is above the constitution, above the law. He can take decision behind of all state and all society for their own good, from his perspective. We have this is Ayatollah Khoi, as he said here, Ayatollah Khoi rejected two. He said the Ayatollah don't interfere with the political affairs. Why? Because we're waiting, so this is waiting theory, we're waiting Imam Mahdi come in the future and he will manage the state and manage society. So now we just manage the religious law about the religious taxes, divorce, marriage, defended the heritage, something like that. But policy, we don't interfere in policy, does not belong to us, belong to Imam Mahdi. So with all this reason, as happened, we understand how the human perspective of Iraqi people at that time, Shia, shaped it. So we shaped it from communism, secularism, nationalism, but at the same time, the modern Islamic vision. But eventually, the modern Islamic vision won. Why? Because we go to the mechanism in the more than 2000s and so on with the tribal culture, Islamic theology, Imam theory, Marja'iyah foundation, all this very strong mechanism. Eventually they control all the human perspective. Despite we have modernity, but human perspective is better than social thought. Go down please. So we have in the Findings 4, we talk about the 21st century. So in 21st century, in Iraq, in 2003, America occupied Iraq. Occupied Iraq, and also they brought democracy after they fall Saddam Hussein, because Saddam Hussein authority his dictatorship, and they want to establish this is democracy and liberalism in Iraq again. So the problem come again to Iraq. We have this problem with this is paternalism of Ayatollah and democracy with the liberalism. So in the first of all, the Sistani, despite the Sistani Ayatollah in Najaf belong to the classic and don't believe in Wilayat Faqih, but he feel worries about that, about his authority, and he interfere with the US administration in Iraq. He said we need to establish a new government and a new constitution. Despite US administration, they wanted to establish the free market first of all to pave the way for culture of liberalism for people. But Sistani prevented that. He was saying no, we should now we do it that. Sistani has good mechanism. He can push people. We do pressure group for people against the US administration by protest, And this way, there's no way for US administration, and they will accept the Sistani decision, and they will establish a new constitution and a new government in that time. But this is constitution is restrict with the Islamic law, because always Sistani with his statement, he say, I need to maintain the social value, the social identity, the Islamic theology for people, and at the same time will accept minority, will give them a freedom, but this is not so far from the social environment or Islamic environment. So with this reason, we have this is mechanism of Ayatollah Sistani, also the modernity by US administration with better non-social thought. We have this is event, elections, constitution, referendum, and a protest. This is lead to a new democracy, and this is mixed with the political theology. Scroll down, please. Okay. Finally, after 2005, we established a new government. We have many events. Still, the government not established, or not coherence, not stability, instability. Why? Because we have fragile government, we have new democracy, but the human perspective is not democracy perspective, it's paternalism perspective. For this reason, if the government is democracy, but the culture is not democracy, we lead to contradiction, we lead to contestation. So we have, for example, event here, government formation and civil war. So happened in Iraq. So civil war happened in Iraq, and this way the Iranian government interfered because Iranian believe in Wilayat Faqih, and they believe can manage the Shia identity overseas and geopolitical. So,
You're going to play outside.
2010, we had this Shia political conflict. So, as I said, Sistani don't accept in Wilayat Faqih, but Iran he want to establish Wilayat Faqih on Iraq. So we have conflict in 2003. The Shia party belongs to Iran. He want to control over the government, but the Shia, the Sistani Foundation, he need to make them away from the political environment, especially exclusive political or power. In 2014, we have this event. The ISIS came to Iraq, and Sistani, when the ISIS came to Iraq, they invaded maybe third of Iraq, and it's very dangerous. So the Sistani lead to issue fatwa, jihad. Fatwa means religious law, jihad means go to fighting against the ISIS. So all the people, most of them, they accept this fatwa and go to jihad against ISIS. I just wanted to say how the Islamism is very strong. He can generate the event to change the human perspective or a human behavior or government. So, and event, we have event in 2018. We have, this is October Popular Revolution against government from the Shia, because the Shia in that time, they suffered from ISIS, suffered from political conflict, suffered from the civil war, suffered from corruption. They want to do revolution against government for new services and good government. But you know, Iranian Faqih, they become against this revolution. But Sistani and Muqtada Sadr, the second giver, accept this evolution. So for this reason, lead many assaultation and killing from this time. From this is revolution. We have event 2021 also. After that, lead to election, and this is religiously the Muqtada Sadr, he won in this election, but Iranian government don't accept him because he against the Wilayat Faqih, and then he don't allow him to establish a new government, and that lead to conflict at that time, and also they failed to establish a new government, and then the Wilayat Faqih won, and right now the government in Iraq belongs to the Wilayat Faqih, unfortunately. Yeah. So, in Finance 5, 21st century, we have this comparative philosophy of appreciate political. We have Sistani, his ideology about policy. We don't interfere with the policy direct, but he interfere with the society, just guide society to the good way. To the Sadr, no, he is the religious leader, and he authoritarian paternalism. He can take decisions behind of his people and followers, and they should obey him. Wilayat al-Faqih in Iran, they have absolute authority. They can, the supreme leader, as today is Ali Khamenei, he can take the decision behind of the people, and the religious law in the Shia allow him to interfere outside Iran. It's called this. So, as I explained right now, so Sistani paternalism, we can see is weak paternalism because he allowed people has the freedom, just guide them, and the decision belongs to them. But Muqtada Sadr, he is no, he takes decision and restrict their liberalism for their own good. And also Wilayat al-Faqih in Iran, same authoritarian with Muqtada Sadr, but different political ideologies. Hold down. So, all this is finding 6, the last one, we talk about that. All we talk about that, the Ayatollah justify that we interfere with people for maintain social system, or we call this public system. So, in that time, as the literature review appeared to us, the paternalism for social public system. So, paternalism, they can protect public system by government or companies. So the same way with Ayatollah. So Ayatollah interfere with the political modernity, with the policy of for what? To maintain public system. So he said we don't society goes astray or without guidance. We all this is interfere with the necessary situation to pretend public system to make society to prevent society from destroying. And that way I find this, the paternalism of Ayatollah is matched with the paternalism social philosophy, the eventually goal to protect public system. Go down this. So we got this contribution. The first contribution I discovered here, I figured out, is the methodology contribution. So methodology contribution, we have historical period with the rhetorical strategy. As we said, first of all, the Islamic theology become mechanism, and mechanism for Imam theory. Imam theory become mechanism for Ayatollah, religious leader. Religious leader become mechanism for society. So we have this is as I said here. This is rhetorical strategy with the historical methodology. We move like this. So anyways, the social structure become mechanism, and then will generate a new event, and new event will shape the human perspective, and then we'll go to mechanism again. We call this is cyclical process.
Cyclical.
Yeah, cyclical process. We call spiral movement. Yeah, go down please. The second one I discovered, we have two mechanisms, external and internal mechanism. External mechanism, foreign culture as modernity. Internal mechanism is native culture traditions. That means, for example, if we apply to the body, so if you take medicine outside, this medicine lead your body become sick. So that's this external mechanism come to our body. This is interfere and reaction with the internal mechanism of your genetic. This lead to the sick. So both of them work together to do event. So it's an event like colonization, like technologies, like exchange culture, and this is lead to the either cultural conflict or double standards or reconciliation. Go down, please. So with the conceptual contribution, as I applied the paternalism with Ayatollah, so I came with that, this is can apply, this is paternalism. I can say the Ayatollah is paternalist figure. Why? Because both of them, they restrict their freedom or interfere with their freedom people. Both of them have action, as Taqlid here is action. Both of them, they can use discourse. Both of them, they take decision. Okay. Both of them, they use normative justification. Both of them, they have liberty and obligation against people, and both of them is hard. Both of them is agent, but is wakil, but different. This is agent. The people do or give permission to the government or the doctor or the individual or the company to use paternalism, but Ayatollah paternalism, agent of theology, the agency from God or from Islamic theology, not from people. That's different. Go down, please. Theoretical contribution. I found the political modernity in the West is different from the East. So in the West, the political modernity came with the dialectic, Hegel dialectic. So Hegel dialectic, we say Hegel dialectic. Hegel dialectic, we say there is a stable theory in the society, a stable theory in the human perspective. But this is stability don't last. So with that come from this is stability here will come this opposition idea. The opposition idea from this is theory will conflict between them. And this is the lead to the new theory for human perspective. So we go in the Europe we have dark age. This is stability, theory stability in that time. But this is don't last. So from this is dark age we have enlightenment social philosophy. So this is conflict between them. This lead to this era, Renaissance era. Renaissance era. So this Renaissance area we have this is maybe industry era, a new capitalism, a new philosophy, a new political modernity. Also this is between them they have some constitution. This is lead to the political modernity eventually in 19th century established in the French and in the British after the protests and revolutions. But with the political modernity appeared this is conflict between paternalism and liberalism, especially with the British government in that time. So who should maintain the government, paternalism or liberalism? So argument happened between philosophy, social philosophy. Some people or some philosophy, especially male, and he said, no, the government should be paternalism. Government don't interfere with the individual freedom. But the paternalism say, the philosophy of paternalism say, no, the government should use paternalism to maintain the individual and to take care about him and about his future. But eventually, the liberalism won against paternalism in the Western society. Right now, we have extreme liberalism in the society, in the Western society. Scroll down, please. So, what happened in the Eastern societies? So, we receive modernity as external mechanism, not internal. We receive modernity by colonization, or by the exchange culture, or by technology, or by capitalism. We accept this is modernity. This is external mechanism. So external mechanism conflict with the social value. We have a different We have different perspective, different culture, different language, different system. Especially if we go to the Islamic society, we have own economy system, we have own political ideology, we have own social value. So how can we fix this problem? That's very. Both of them is inevitability. Both of them is necessary for the society. How can we fix this problem? As contribute, and this is theorizing. Okay. Victor, how can we pronounce this?
Theorizing.
Theorizing, yeah. Theorizing in my thesis, it said we should reconcile between them. How can we reconcile? I think we go to the secular state, but not society. So this is secular state. We give freedom for people, freedom or faith or belief, but at the same time we should maintain the social value of people. We maintain the identity, majority identity for people. We maintain Islamic theology or Islamic culture. In this way we can reconcile. We have maybe good example here in Malaysia or Indonesia or Turkey right now. That's a good example for Islamic society, and at the same time will accept modernity. The second of all is democratizing of democracy. What does that mean? So if we have democracy in the government, we need to learn to teach people to be social democracy. So if the people have this culture about democracy, they can build their government by themselves. But if the people they don't have this culture, they will search about figure to follow until this figure guide them in this situation or that situation, as it's happened in Iraq right now. So the people they always looking for figure to follow, to emulate, to guide them, to establish their government, and this lead to hybridization, as was happening in Iraq. So the third one, I said here, proportional representations. So in the 19th century, Mill, he said, we accept democracy, but don't allow everyone vote for this is democracy. He said, the Mill said, he said, because we cannot be equal with people, educate people with ignorant people. Don't accept with equal. We should, for example, if I am educate people, vote, my vote is equal 10% ignorant person. So, but for me, I criticized this. I said no. That doesn't happen. Doesn't make sense because maybe they will lead to the social class conflict with them. And how we distinguish the educated people, not educated people, because maybe in this situation right now, until people have degree, until he have PhD degree, but he still don't understand what is the mean democracy. He still follow figure or follow the traditional society. So for this reason, I said we should do a proportional representation for candidate, not for voters. So not everybody can candidate to the government. Not everybody can lead the government or lead parliament. Not everybody. We should we do investigation for everyone. He will apply for this. We just we need to investigate his, for example, his CV, his background, his understanding for the government, his integrity, and the government, especially with the a new democracy for traditional society, we should lead by the UN or something else to maintain or to keep this is a good democracy for the new societies, because the new societies, they don't have this culture to lead themselves by themselves. And for this reason, we have paternalism democracy from UN or from the good countries for democracy, progress democracy countries to guide the new democracy for the people, for new or three generation, until the people can lead themselves by themselves, eventually or gradually, step by step. Go down, please. Okay, the future study. This will open door for many research in the future. With religious pluralism, We talk about the Shia, theologically, economically, gender, religious law, and also an Islamic sects, another Islamic sects. We talk about political modernity. We talk maybe in the future.
10:50 now, so you gotta stop here now.
Yeah.
Okay, future studies you can skip now.
Yeah.
Right, let's wrap it up. You have anything else?
Thank you.
Okay.
So how many time?
Yeah.
45.
10:51.
51.
You're way off the time. Yeah.
45 minutes.
Way off there. Okay.
Okay.
I can say that. Okay. Have a seat. Or you can sit there if you want to, or just keep the seating arrangement so that you can go and explain things.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yes. Maybe better that way.
Okay.
I just want to ask you all some of you have heard Muhtadi's presentation, some of you have not this extensively before. What's your general impression? Do you understand or do you not understand? What's your general impression? It's okay because we are among families right now, so you can say freely, whatever.
Most of the words is very new for me. Most of the conception and the social frameworks are new, but because this country is a mystery for us. This country is Iraq. It's a mystery country, but because of the war, that country. So I just checked the translation from the slides.
Oh, right.
And I know something that it changed.
Oh, you were doing you were translating the slide.
If I don't translate, I cannot.
Oh, okay, right. Anyone else? Pizarro, you're
Yes,
doing a lot of foreign.
Thank you, Tadi, for the comprehensive explanation on the political situation in Iraq. I get more information from Tadi presentation that there is a division and clash or dispute between the political Shi'i group in Iraq, and then it saw also the conflict between the Shi'i Iraq and Iran. Because we know before the Shi'i is the solid groups, because it has rivalry with the Sunni in the Middle East, in particular, like the Saudi Arabia, like Saudi Arabia. Most of them in Indonesia, some people in Indonesia said it's Wahhabi conflicts with the Shi'i. But I got explanation from the Muhtadi that in Shi'i group itself, yes, it's also occur conflicts. I think the political conflict between the Muqtada al-Sadr, Iran doesn't recognize, yes, Muhtadi, the Muqtada al-Sadr faction, because as I know, Muqtada al-Sadr is the leader in the Iraq. Also, the Ali Sistani just focus on the religious teaching or teaching. He doesn't interfere about politics or social politics in Iraq. And Muhtadi described with one word, the paternalism conflict in Iraq. So I think it gives a more contribution on political Shi'i group theory in Middle East, because we know that development of the Shi'i group in Iraq, it's so dynamic. Conflict with the Saddam Hussein is Sunni, right?
No.
seculars.
No, Saddam Hussein, yes.
Yes, Saddam Hussein.
Sunni, yes.
Yes, Sunni.
Yes,
Sunni. Conflict Iraq with the Iran in the 1990s, and then after that, U.S. United States with the NATO ally try to attack Saddam Hussein and success to getting down Saddam Hussein, and then after that, I saw that step by step the CE group took the power after United States withdraw their troops from Iraq. But after
Okay,
that,
I just want your
Yes.
thought about the
Okay.
presentations now. What do you think?
about the presentation.
Presentation, yeah.
Yes, it's
They're helping Muhtadi right now.
yeah, excellent. Helping give the theoretical contribution on the C8 group in Iraq.
All right. Anyone else? 1 minute because it's only 1 hour.
Okay.
So almost 11 o'clock now.
Hello, Muhtadi. Thank you for your presentation. And in my opinion, your presentation is including the critical thinking. I think it's very good. But maybe you should pay attention to the limitation of the time. You explain so deeply that, and and another thing is I don't know whether I should say or later. You have some spelling errors. Maybe spelling errors, spelling.
Spelling.
Yeah, spelling from the finding 4, 5, 6, and the page before the finding. So you'd better check the spelling. Yeah, the publicate the retroductive.
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe you can check it later.
Okay, thank you.
And another one is you make the contribution to the methodology, and the conceptual framework is so good. And that's all because I only have 1 minute.
That's okay, all right then. Okay, Muhtadi. So, remember our discussion before, which I conveyed to you, yeah. And I'm not telling you to make you feel down, but I'm giving you a realistic assessment. Yeah. So my assessment, my prediction, of the examiner's evaluation, right, of your thesis, right, will be 3, right, not 2, but 3. But I'm hoping for a good surprise, praying for a good surprise. And the reason being, it's not really your fault, but Iraq is a complex academic problem. Right? It's complex. What happened in Iraq is complex. Number one, right? So it's not easy to understand what's going on in Iraq. Right? It's probably, maybe not, easy to understand what's going on in Iran from a political point of view, right? Iraq has this Sunni, and they have this Shia, and then they have the 3 factions, you know. There's Arab versus the Persian side of the story, right? It's and then there's U.S. occupation, you know, and there's the revolution that's affecting Iraq. So it's a complex academic problem, complex to understand. And then your research is also complex. It's like it's a complex because you're looking at historical sociology, right? So this is the double whammo, and the complex academic problem, and you're doing a complex research. But as I said long time ago, this is your research. You choose to do this, you want to pursue this, I said go ahead. We'll do our best to make things work. Now the challenge is to make the examiners accept your work to be something that they will, I recognize that certain aspects of this work would not just pass, but pass you with a comfortable passing, which is what the challenge I have with your supervising your research is to make sure not just pass, but pass at a comfortable level, right? So that is it against this background that I'm giving you this feedback? Yeah? So there are a number of things that I want to share, and this might be a longer session than I thought, right? Your presentation is long. Definitely, like Leah is helping me. I was noting the point. 10:05 started, and then the next slide we spent about 10:15 on literature review, and then your findings. By the time you get finding number 2 was 10:45, 10:25, 10:24, right? Finding number 4 you get 10:37, 31. Finding number 5, which is a spelling error, 10:33. And then you finding number 6, 10:39. By the time you reach your findings on paternalism, theorizing on paternalism is 10:50. And then you went to the futures and said, okay, this was stop you there, right? So because the futures are future studies are, you can put it later on. So the time factor is a big part. So now you have a complex problem, right? Academic problem, right? Not economics. And then you have a complex research, right? And you want to present it in a short while. So that is the task right now, right? The task right now. Because we are talking about Viva, and you want to make the Viva a point that push you forward further, right? Push your evaluation further, right? By eliminating some, if not many, of the problems that this research carries, right? Which is the complexity problem. So now we want to redesign your presentation, right? So that it has mainly two parts, right? One part is kind of abbreviated version of your presentation, right? The other one is the extended, right? So you want to be able to explain to them in the first 3 minutes so that they understand your research immediately, right? And then you take the other 10 minutes to expand the explanation. So within that 3 minutes, you get them to have clarity. They arrive at high clarity of your research within 3 minutes. And the remaining 10 minutes, 12 minutes is an expanded version of your 3 minutes. Basically, you get what I'm saying, right? So now, we need to think about what you can present in 3 minutes so that they have clarity.
Okay.
Right? So now the challenge is about clarity, and to make the clarity a convincing clarity, right? So it's not just clear, but convince them that this is PhD worthy, a strong PhD worthy research. Right? That's the task right now. Okay, that's the background, right? That's the challenge. Right? So we want to choose which part of your presentation, right, that you want to make it concise, make it abbreviated, and compact within that 3 minutes, and then you expand it. So you go, it's like a flower approach. You go to the center first, and then you explain it. The 3 minutes will be at the center of your explanation, and they have clarity with these 3 minutes. Immediately they have the clarity, and then you start to expand and go back. Start expand and go back. Start expand and go back. Start expand and go back. Right. So the weaving of these 3 minutes is important. The center piece is important. So the center piece, as always, is your research question, which is here. Right. Now, so your research question is about what are the key changes throughout the different periods in Iraqi Shiite history, right? Iraqi Shiite history, vis-a-vis paternalism. So the essence is paternalism.
Yes.
So you want to be able to explain, my research is about paternalism. You go straight to say that I say dear professors, address them as professors, dear professors, dear champions. I understand my research is complex. Can I feel that I understand my research is complex. So immediately you do the Tai Chi thing, right? You absorb the energy from them and channel that back to them, right? You absorb their confusion, their this is complex. And yes, it is complex. Yes, so I feel your pain. I'm here to help heal your pain. You know, kind of. Okay, my research is complex, but I want to spend the next 10 minutes to help you have better clarity. That's the kind of. So my research is about paternalism, right? And I want to just explain 3 things about in this presentation, something like that, right? So everyone's okay. I have 3 things, and then you are also clear about these 3 things. This is where you got to be very clear about your 3 things is. So you go back to your research question. You want to explain the changes in different periods in the history vis-a-vis paternalism, right? So I will demonstrate to you, it's just like a lawyer in a court case, right?
Yeah.
Remember, if you watch movie in court case, right? See, I would say what is it? Yeah, the defendant will say, look, the prosecutor will show that this person murder you, but I will show you that the evidence is wrong. That's it. All you need to do is to be able to strike certain things. Right? So you want to be able to strike at certain things, right? So you say, all I want to demonstrate to you is to show that there is changes, that paternalism is at the core of Iraqi political economy or Iraqi historical sociology. It's at the core, at the heart of it. Number 1, you can say that, right? I'm just giving an example, but I think that is a good example. Number 2, I want to show to you that there's an evolution, there's a transformation, there's changes in paternalism throughout the different periods of Iraqi history. Number 2. And number 3,
this is paternalism contest with the political modernity, number 3, for example.
What is that? Say again?
This paternalism complex with the political modernity.
Complex?
Yeah, I mean contestation.
Oh, contestation, okay.
With political modernity.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
But you go back to your research question so that they do not run away from your research question. Right? And then you say, the third thing is I want to show to you what mechanism that leads to this paternalism, which is what the essence of your research is, right? And you look at this one, the different generative mechanism at work in different periods. What are the processes that have manifested in connection? Let me explain to you these 3 things. That's how you begin the opening statement. Right? So the opening statement is the most important part of your presentation. Yeah. So immediately you start strong, right? And it's called the Churchill method of giving communication. You start strong, right? And then immediately it's okay. The examiner says, okay, this guy will help me understand better. Yeah. So immediately you lift the burden from the examiner. Right? So within that 3 minutes, you explain these 3 things. Right? You need to be clear what these 3 things is. You do not need to have any other agenda. You can have it later on when you expand these 3 things. The next 10-15 minutes, then you can expand further. But these 3 minutes, you maintain this one, right? And remember, this is you're using the flower approach. It's what I also learned I told you all that I was a management consultant some time ago. Management trainer, like management trainer. Okay. What I did, look at this. It's called the flower approach, right? So this is the essence. This is your 3 minutes, right? 3 minutes is here. You just focus in 3 minutes. In 3 minutes, you explain to them, let them understand immediately. In 3 minutes, they understand, right? Okay. And then you go back, you start expanding. Okay, this is your problem statement, whatever. The next one is your whatever else, what is it? theory of methodology, and you go back to the center. Go back to the center. Then you go back. What's your center? Paternalism.
Okay.
Yeah. You always use the word paternalism repeatedly. So what we are doing now, I'm explaining to you about paternalism in Iraq. What I'm doing now, I'm explaining to you about paternalism in Iraq. Don't let them go too far. Mutada Asadi, and then you go to this one. Where are we now? We want to go. We go to the bank. We come back to Sampris, CPR. We go to the what is it? The Pusat Bahasa. We come back to there. We then we come back to there. So they always come back to paternalism. So every time you're convincing them, look, he's innocent. Look, he's innocent. Look, he's innocent. When you repeat many times, a lie becomes the truth. Right. But Donald Trump repeat many times, many times that this is a rigged election.
Yeah.
Half of America believes that now. Right?
Yes.
Right? They believe that now, right? So you keep on repeating many times paternalism. So this is a discovery of paternalism. This is a new research about paternalism. This is a new research. This is what? This is the contribution to theory about paternalism. Right? Before, no one has discovered paternalism the way it is studied this way. So you're emphasizing your research. Remember, you're doing, when you speak, your marketing as well. Yeah, you speak your marketing. Yeah, because you're convincing them, right? So remember that. So you do not let them drown in the sea. You always bring them back to the boat. Go down, bring back to the boat. Bring down, go back to the boat, right? And you need to be clear what your boat is, where your center is. And you go and bend, through and bend, right? So always about paternalism. This is what happened to Iraq in paternalism. We have this, the 3% here, they all talk about different paternalism. This is about this paternalism, that is about paternalism. They all about paternalism, right? Why is it we have all this problem with Iraq? Because we have paternalism in Iraq. Basically, like that, right? But no one has to look at it from a paternalism point of view. This is a research that's look into paternalism as the core of Iraqi political conflict, evolution, and all that, right? But I'm also telling you, at the end, paternalism will be the solution. Because paternalism is at the heart of Arabic culture, right? Paternalism is at the heart of, can you talk about that, right? So you got this one, right? Yeah, you got that one, okay. You got that. So that's the whole presentation strategy that you use, right?
Make it clear.
Very clear and strong, right? It's called the flower program. Beginning is the Churchill. Churchill starts strong, right? Churchill.
Yes, thank you, Doctor, for this.
Churchill is the one who fought the Germany, right?
It's very important for all of us.
Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill is Prime Minister, the Prime Minister of UK during the war, right? So he's noted to be a very powerful speaker, and one of his method is start strong. Start strong. And repeat. And there are few things like repeat 3 times. We will fight them in the sea. We will fight them in the air. We will fight on the land. Repeat 3 times. Fight. So that's the Churchill method, right? So this is. By the way, these are things I also learned from Robert Kiyosaki. The rich dad poor dad. So I attended some communication courses as well. All right, let's go to other things, other important things. I think some core things first, and then I'll go to the other aspects of your presentation. The core thing is the mechanism, Mutadi. Can you go to the slide where you have the mechanism, the 3 layer, the 4 layer mechanism? Okay, right. Okay, so now we are talking about reproductive research, right? Reproductive research. Remember, reproductive research is about 3. Reproductive research strategy has 3 layers. Explain the world. The ontological assumption is that the world has 3 layers of reality, right? The real, the actual, and the empirical. The real, the actual, the empirical. The real is where the mechanism is, right? Right? The real is a mechanism. So the actual is where the events occur. Empirical is where we can observe the event. We can observe the manifestation of the events, right? We can see it, right? So example, the magnet, the power of magnet is the real. You may see, maybe be able to see, maybe may not be able to see, but the power exists. Like magnet, seeing,
Attraction.
like gravity, you can see, the power is there, the structure is there. Event is when you take the magnet, you put a nail, or you can see an event happening, right? Events is something that happened, right? But some events you can see, some events you cannot see, right? Or some events have been seen, some events have not been seen. The events that have been seen is empirical, right? You see the point I'm explaining, right? So there's the real. The real can be the power base, can be the cultural ideology, right? Paternalism is real.
Ideology.
It's an ideology.
Yeah.
Paternalism is an ideology. It's a cultural, religious ideology, Arabic ideology too, right?
Yeah.
Because it's about so events is things that happen because of that. This causes the events to happen, right? And this is the empirical, right? So there should be one more layer up here. So the what is the mechanism? This is the mechanism. The whole thing is a mechanism, right?
Yeah.
So I give you another metaphor, right? Photosynthesis, right? You know photosynthesis? What is it called in photosynthesis?
What's that?
It's a plant.
How
They
plants
absorb carbon dioxide and produce oxygen.
Yeah, all of us have
What's
this.
the name?
If won't help us to.
What's the name in Chinese?
In Chinese.
The process.
The process where the plants make
Oxygen.
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 Oh,
Plant produce oxygen. Plants.
Yes.
如何二氧化碳？
I see.
太阳化碳
so
这个
okay,
作用的
so,
过程，
right.
这绿色
光合作用。
光合作用，
Okay, right. But I learned in biology, right? We learned in biology, right? How plants make oxygen, right? No one has seen how plants make oxygen before,
Yeah.
right? No one has seen it. We cannot see. Oh, there, cannot see that, But we can prove that it can make by showing the mechanism that plant absorb water and then they absorb the sunlight, right? These are different events, but certain events you can see, certain events you cannot see. You need to have the tools to see the events, and then you can see, right? But the whole mechanism of producing oxygen, that's the mechanism, right? But where's the power exists from where? The solar is power, right? Solar energy is power, right? Water is power, right? Water gives energy to the plant, right? Nutrients is power, right? But event is where the absorption of water, that's events. Absorption of sunlight, that's events, right? So, can you see the event? When you can see the event, it becomes empirical.
Okay.
Right. When you cannot see the event, it's event. So some events are empirical, some events are not empirical. So empirical is when you see it. Right. That's the idea. Right. So just like veto power, the United Nations has veto power, right? China has it, US has it, UK has it, who else I don't know. Russia has it. There's another country. Germany, France. Right? They have veto power. You cannot see veto power, right? You know what veto power is, right? The power to block.
Block?
To block decision.
Block in the UN.
United Nations?
United Nations.
United Nations, you know United Nations, right?
Yes.
The voting.
All the countries come together in
联合国。
联合国，对，联合国，United Nations, there are 5 Security Council
Yeah.
members,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They have veto power, right?
Yeah.
So whenever the China usually abstain, China is the only one usually abstain. Whenever US, support the Western support, China say abstain, right? Right. There's the 5 veto power. Veto power we cannot see, right? We cannot see veto. We can see the voting. We can see the voting, but we cannot see the power. So power is down here. That's retroductive research. So retroductive research said the reality have 3 layers. One layer is where the power is, where the real is. Right? Culture you cannot see. Right? 思想 cannot see. Thinking we cannot see. Right? Ideology we cannot see. Power we cannot see. So this is where the real is. Now you want to be able to explain this to the examiner, because not many examiners understand retroductive research. Not many, most I think do not understand, right? And they will start interpreting their own ways. It should be like this, it should be like that, And so you need to be clear in explaining what the events are. So the mechanism is actually more encompasses the real and also the events. That's the mechanism, the process.
The process. All the process.
The process. The process is
incentive research. We call it.
The process is so the process of making oxygen by the plant. That's the whole process, right? So no one has seen the process, but you can say, when it's absorbed water, we can measure the water. We can measure sunlight. We can but we cannot see the whole system. We cannot see, right? We can demonstrate the system,
Dr. Ravani, I saw that Modati is trying to explain the findings from these 3 levels.
Yes.
But I'm wondering that every findings, in my opinion, he's trying to explain from the 3 levels. But every finding, the phases, the layers is different. For example, hello, honey. Is that possible to find finding 1? Finding 1.
Because Iraq is complex.
I want to understand. Go ahead.
So in my opinion, it's a very clear, logical that you can analyze every finding from the real, the actual, and the empirical. That's very clear. But for example, here now, the layer. The layer 1 is mechanism 2. The layer 2 is mechanism 1. Layer 3 event. Why not? For example, it's just my opinion. You can just write 3 layers. Layer 1 is the empirical. Layer 2 is the actual. The layer 3 is real. Then you can analyze. It's very clear to the to the examiner.
Yes.
Right.
Very much agree. Yes.
And finding 2. I'm sorry that. Finding 2 here, you look only layer 3, 2, 1. Then finding 3. It's totally different.
Okay.
The audience will be confused about the explanation.
Yes. Now, hopefully the examiners, when they read the thesis, right? Hopefully they read the thesis. Right.
I just want to avoid repetition. I want to avoid repetition with the same diagram. That's my goal. If I do the same diagram with the old findings, maybe it's something like it's repetition. So you don't have this idea how to design different diagram with the same idea. That's the problem. But I don't know if I design the same diagram with the old findings, it's okay.
It's okay. So the point Lee is saying that
here finding point totally different, right?
So you want to be using the same words and repeating. That's why I remember I suggested to you to show different periods, right? 1, 2, 3 periods before occupation, after occupation, and then there's the real, there's the actual, and there's also the empirical, and just put point form, right? Period 1, period 2, period 3.
It's easy to understand.
So that's that, and how paternalism has changed. That's the whole story of your thesis is about how paternalism have changed. And you will show that the cyclical is actually not cyclical only, it's spiral cyclical. because you're doing this.
Yeah.
Cyclical is only one.
Yeah.
It's like that, right? But it's also spiral cyclical. But it's fine because it's still cyclical. It's still going in and around, right? Only thing is it's spiral also,
Yeah.
right? Not just going in and around, but it's going spiral. Right, so, which is actually your very important theoretical contribution is there. Mutadi, your theoretical contribution is this is one. Not just methodological, this is actually theoretical.
Okay.
Right? Methodological is the retroductive research. This is the theoretical. There's the spiraling and spiral cyclical nature of paternalism, right? And how the transformation of paternalism have evolved from one period to another period.
So,
Right?
Mutadi, is that possible for you to use this model to take an example to explain how a mechanism to work round and around?
Yeah.
I listened to your explanation about how does it work, right? It should be mechanism, then maybe the empirical, then the empirical go back to the mechanism. But I haven't seen an example. Is that possible to put one?
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Because
you show example, you need. So,
is it that theoretical? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Okay. Show example from my research or general.
From the research, actually.
Yeah,
Okay.
from your research, then
Okay, go to find this one.
others is easy to know
Okay,
how
okay,
does it
okay.
work.
Go to find this one. Go. Okay. Here, for example, so if we say this is Rajaiya is religious leader, it's become empirical or human perspective for society, where this is in 19th century. So this is leader, he become first leader. So the people will follow this man. This is empirical. It's empirical. The first layer. So we go down. Oh, here you can become mechanism. Okay, same. But this die, and this is replace him. So in the 19th century, when that man he's become empirical, in the 20th century he become mechanism.
Mechanism. Oh, I see.
Yeah. So and also before that, when the Islamic culture or theology mechanism for imamah theory. So imamah theory is empirical. It's later imamah theory become mechanism for ayatollah. And ayatollah become empirical, but later become mechanism for generate event for political ideology. So see, during the history, the empirical will change to the mechanism. When they become is like social value or norms, can move society or make event for society. It's not, for example, in the first history, in the first century in Islam is empirical, still empirical. For example, I want to talk about Islam because my research is with that. So Muhammad Prophet, he want to establish this is a new version of Islam, or this is a new religion. So it's empirical, but this empirical, Muhammad used Arabic culture until they make them accept the Islam. So Arabic culture is mechanism. But the Islam later become when the Islam established and become strong, become mechanism for new groups. So for example, Sunni, Shia, and other groups. So this group, when established, become mechanism for institution for this group, Ayatollah or something like that. So we see. So during the history, the mechanism, the empirical become mechanism, and move on.
Yes, thank you. I got that. So, Dr. Ivane, is that necessary for Mutadi to show a case in the presentation to make others easy to understand how it's going round and around? Because here is only a conceptual framework and doesn't have any example here.
All right. It's actually an important point, and for how you word it, that is actually equally important. So not that the empirical becomes the real, the essence of the empirical, the values of the empirical, of the events, right? The values are there. So the values of what? The values of paternalism, right? So the events created some empirical realm. They created some empirical data, right? What that has created is a change or transformation of values in paternalism. So the paternalism there, right, from the events, right, they have transformed the paternalism, right, because paternalism is there too at the beginning, but paternalism has created some events through some interaction with other powers, not just paternalism. Paternalism was interacting with, I don't know, economic power with some other power, and then they actually you have events, but then the essence of the paternalism of the events become the real. Yeah. So this is something you want to show. Not necessarily at the beginning. You can show somewhere here, right? So it doesn't confuse people at the beginning. You just show that that's your theoretical contribution, right? The slide that Hanif was showing is now the 4 layers or whatever 4 layers. This one, before that, this one, right? So the confusion that you want to omit is to not share, to not show and say there are 4 layers. There's always 3 layers.
Okay.
Always the real,
Okay.
actual, empirical. Always that, right? So you can just redo this one so that it fits into the 3 layers, right? Okay. So this is actually a big part of it, right? Let me go through my notes and I'll give you some more inputs. All right. But tadi, you just make sure somebody, 2 persons check your presentation when you're just spelling wise. It's not problem, right? So there was some problem with the finding 5. I think it should be F instead of S. Public spelling. It's not big, but sometimes some examiners get annoyed.
Okay.
With spelling, right? And that can be male or female. Usually it's female, but so people like who are Sundamuti, Dr. Sundamuti, Prof. Sundamuti, right? He's annoyed with what is he annoyed with? He's annoyed with referencing of certain types, right? Spelling will annoy people like Prof. Azrina. There's annoyed about spelling and formatting and all that, right? Okay, I'm not too annoyed about those things, right? I'm okay because I'm not. But I'm here to make you all succeed. So, what annoy people, I will tell you, to make sure you're okay with that, right? So, in fact, I'm not quite a methodology person, but I don't see myself as emphasizing methodology. But methodology is where you win or lose. Although I teach methodology, I put more weight or weightage on theory because I think our work should be about theory, not about methodology. But methodology is where people attack us. So when we have strong methodology, because a lot of people don't understand our theory, because our theory is ours, right? They usually do not understand. So, but I think the theory part is the more interesting part, more important part. But when it comes to examination of thesis, methodology is easier to attack. Yeah, it's and easier to get confused on. Let me go through the. I've talked to you about the crux of the content of your work, right?
I just want to ask this
about
methodology and go, Doctor.
Yeah.
About methodology, especially with the retrospective research strategy. First of all, we observe, as I read the papers about that. So first of all, especially with the social science, first of all, we observe the human perspective. So why Malaysian people think in this way.
Mhm.
This is a human perspective. So until we understand this human perspective, we go deep from the top to the bottom to understand what is the mechanism to make this is the human thinking in this way. Maybe human don't know this mechanism, so the researcher will know. So this mechanism may or may not to do event.
May not, may
Especially with the social science, always, I mean, the good mechanism avoid events, to not to make people notice about them, avoid event. They just will move society, and they like make it magnetic, so they don't feel about this event. But eventually they can control in a spiritual way or invisible way. So, is that correct?
It depends on what mechanism, yeah. So, an example, if you talk about legal powers. Legal powers, right?
Yeah.
Legal powers are there, right? But legal powers can be activated or not activated, right? So, for instance, right, my country doesn't allow. I'm a president. I'm a prime minister right now, right? I'm a prime minister, but my country doesn't allow my 15-year-old son, my 16-year-old son, to become the next prime minister, because he's only 16 years old. He's studying Form 3 right now, right? So I go to the law. I say, what law now is stopping my son from becoming, prime minister after me? So, law number 1, now number 2, number 3. Okay. So who can change the law? Who can change the law? Judges can change the law, or the parliament can change the law. I go to parliament. You guys, you support me or not? You support me. You don't support me, I fire you, right? So I'm using my power, right, which is political power, right, to change the legal power. So there's two different powers there, right? So you see, now we have the political power at the real part, right? Going to the event, creating event by firing certain people or persuading certain people to change the real, so that an event can occur where my son can become prime minister at a young age. So you can see the mechanism there. So between two powers, there can be interaction as well. So you are studying feminism. Feminism is power, but the other power is patriarchy. It's a power, right? It's another type of power, right? So these are, you can see so by my going to the parliament, say change the law, right? I'm changing legal power, which and the legal power now will allow my son to go and become prime minister right now. So there's event, power, event again.
Okay.
So this whole thing is a mechanism.
Yes.
Right. The process is a mechanism. Right. So your contribution to the literature is to actually explain this mechanism. Right. So the mechanism is this whole thing. The mechanism is the whole thing. The whole process. Right. So the mechanism may consist of both the real, the actual, as well as empirical.
For example, I will take example in my research. For example, we have two figures in Iraq. So Muqtada Sadr on Sistani.
Yes.
Sistani bigger than the biggest one.
Biggest one.
But with his ideology, he wants to avoid to do events.
They want to show his power there.
Yes. He don't want people notice him. Why? He want to maintain about his leadership. It's they make people always notice him. Maybe people feel boring or feel he's normal. But he's always disappeared. The people always miss to see this leader, always to connect with this leader. This is like is how can I say psychology behavior to people. So Mukhlas said no, always he want to do event. He like to do event. Always he want to show his followers still same number degrees or still obey him or not. He always do event, protests, elections, something else, or Friday prayer. Always he demand them to go the how can I say the one prayer on the Iraq to see his people. So he connect with the event. So for this reason I said maybe mechanism to connect, do event or not do event, may or may not do event.
So you can describe that. So and Marx talked about it. Karl Marx talked about this. So Karl Marx says all human relations embedded in it is power. So Marx also said all humans have power. That's why there's a labor have power. So when labor unite, right, the owning class will be afraid. So they said it's not that you do not have power because you do not organize. When you organize, the embedded power can be activated. That will be Karl Marx's prescription to a better society. So the power exists, but how you activate it, that is the event that activates the power, right? So it can be self-activating, or it can be activated by something else, right? So that is the mechanism you have to explain. So likewise, in each period of your analysis, there's a mechanism to explain. So there's a mechanism here. I remember I said you can do a pre-US occupation, during US occupation, post-US occupation, or Saddam, pre-Saddam, whatever. There's a mechanism at work. The process
work, but still the paternalism is the whole process.
Yes. How the paternalism plays into it. And in your argument, your thesis, you're making the argument that paternalism is a very important part of what's going on in Iraq. Right? And paternalism has actually been transformed from the 19th century until today. Right? So I think that's the point you want to highlight. Reproductive research strategy is also one of the toughest. It is the toughest research strategy to use.
Yes.
So abductive, and highlight doing it is simpler, not as complex as reproductive. Reproductive is tougher in that sense. Rajis is adaptive. So deductive is also simpler. You have a theory, you have hypothesis. You come up with hypothesis. You test your hypothesis. You construct something that is based on that. So there is no 1 layer, 3 or 2 layers. There's many layers. There's only 1, 2 layers. Simple. Not even layer. They don't even talk about layers, right? It's always about empirical. Right? So they come. Remember, they challenge the empiricists. They say not everything that is, not everything in this work can be seen. Right? Well, power, you cannot see power, but they exist. Power exists. Right? Power exists. So there's an idea. So that's when you first took POL 500 research methodology. Right? I explained about the 4 research strategies. Right? So that is fundamental to understanding social science. You understand the 4 research strategies and philosophy. Right? I want to go in at this different part of preparing you, Mutadi. So these are the. I will send this one, which I think I did last time, but I'm going to send again. I send it to. I send it to. Hanif, and then Hanif, you share with me upload it, yeah?
Okay.
Yes, I send it. I I've done this before, but I will upload this one too in our Telegram. The good thing about Telegram is that Telegram doesn't erase.
Yeah.
It's always there.
Uploaded already?
Yes.
I've already put it in our
Uploaded already, uploaded?
Yeah.
Viva preparation guide. R2. That's the one. You got it? You got it. I know you got it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is you just download it and we can share that file now. So because I want to go through the list. So this is part of the preparation now. So that we can talk. All right. Tadi the first. I listed 12 principles there. I will show you later, but I can explain to you. The first and most important part. I say it's most important, but at least one of the most important principles in Viva, right? So some people ask, should we be tough? Should we be strong? Should we be soft? Should we, what should we do during Viva, right? So the first principle is sensing. So this one I learned it from Yong Chun Xue. Stand up. Let's stand up. So in Viva, it's not about attacking or defending or arguing or being soft or being strong.
Okay.
First step is about sensing. So Wing Chun have this one. This is the Wing Chun. You can feel energy coming in, right? Right. So you saw this is strong energy. But if I'm doing this, I'm just playing with you. Right. You can attack me. I know that you're coming in, right? So this is so Wing Chun. One of the things Yong Chun is feel that first. You sense first. You don't attack. You don't defend. You sense the examiner first. Okay, so you sit down. Okay. So the first principle is to sense the examiner. So sense the examiner first, right? Sometimes the examiner. So this under. Can you share that one? Just unshare this one and share this one. So sometimes. The question is, do you argue back or do you not argue back, right? So principle sensing say, okay, it depends on the energy. So it's important to sense the energy of the examiner. Is the examiner asking you to defend or to accept? Right? To change or not to change? To argue or not to argue? Sometimes the examiner wants you to argue. Sometimes the examiner doesn't want you to argue. I cannot tell you that.
I should feel.
You should feel.
I can avoid arguing.
Because the whole idea is not to annoy. You want to pass the job. You want to succeed, right? And remember, during Viva, the power is almost completely with the examiners. I do not have power.
They have mechanism.
There's only two parties can help you: the examiners and God, right? God.
Yeah.
So I pray a lot, right?
Selection is everything he or she said you better rest. Right?
Yeah.
And
Now that said, sometimes they want you to. They say, okay, why is this like this? So you can say, if you're not sure whether they want you to argue out or not, can you repeat it? Is this what you want? Do you like me to explain it to you? Right. Sometimes they will cut you short. Why don't you do this? Okay. So they say meaning they want you to accept the idea, right? Meaning they want to accept the idea, right? Now, so this is about sensing. So you do not know if Yefeng is the examiner. She wants me to do what? You don't know Jim wants me to do what, right? You just do the sensing first. So be present is very important. Remember I told you the two students of mine who have problems with resubmission, right? One is the one that rushed through. The other one is his attitude was arrogant. He's the best student. He's a Malaysian, by the way. He's the best student in UM, Universiti Malaya. He's even better in Universiti than Yes, and so UM students think they're like they're Peita or Tsinghua, a very good student, right? I think so. And he is a psychology student, so he will profile people. Or profile, this one is like this one is like that, this one is like that, like that. You don't do profiling during that time. Do not profile. That is a mistake to profile.
Yeah.
Don't do psychological analysis during that time. That's why psychologists are wrong. They think sometimes, not all psychologists are wrong, they think personality is static, right? Personality is not necessarily static, right? It can change during certain situations. So it's the state versus trait. Some trait is it's like that, right? A killer has certain trait, true, but sometimes certain behavior is a state. It depends on the situation, right? So he's a psychology student that like to do profiling. He did profiling with me, which actually works because he came in, wanted to get me to supervise, and he said all the right things. I'm interested to do this. So, oh, this is what I'm interested to. So, it's like somebody who have looked at your social media, they know what music you like, it's like a CIA kind of thing, right? He's trying to do that. Do not do that. So the person might look bad, but he support you. The person might look smart, but he's the stupid person there, right? So he did that. He made that mistake. He was profiling the examiners, and it was, the one who attacked him most is the chairperson, not even the examiner. The chairperson. The chairperson made him go through, okay, let's go through your thesis page by page. I said, oh God, this is terrible, man. So do not profile. Do not profile. Do not, person might look good, might look bad, might be a woman, might not be a woman, doesn't matter, right? It's okay, right? So sensing is the most important. Always important. You need to know when is attack, when is not attack, what's a suggestion, what is not suggestion, what is a support, what is not support, right? And one student, right, was successful last time. And I usually tell this to a number of my students who wants to prove through their thesis, right? So they have an underlying agenda, right? Basically, so that is what I told Muzakir and to a couple of other students who, the Muzakir study Muhammadiyah, the organization Muhammadiyah. So I respect Muhammadiyah. So Muzakir is a student of is a member of Muhammadiyah. So he studied in the University of Muhammadiyah to look at the success cases. So implicit in it, probably he's championing Muhammadiyah like that. So I said, be careful. You do not want to show that, right? And there were a couple other. Muzakir did not make that mistake because Muzakir was critical. But there are two other cases, students who had an underlying agenda to their research. Right? Underlying agenda. What was the underlying agenda? One of my students who was studying about family and deviant behavior, children, teenage deviance, teenage delinquency, right? She did not have religious analysis. It's all about family and delinquency, right? But then she put in an analysis some Islamic literature in there, right? Islamic literature. But if you put in Islamic, then you have to put in Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, because we are multi-racial, multi-religious. I said, well, no, because I said you're not studying religion here. You're studying family and delinquency, right? So she removed it, right? But then during the Viva, she brought it up because religion is important, She brought it up, so the examiners attacked her. Because he said, your research is not about religion. Why are you bringing up religion as a conclusion? Yeah. But I agree religion is important. Yeah, I agree. But your research is not about religion, right? She's a IIM student, by the way. So be careful about the underlying agenda. Be careful about that, right? So and in our research, we want to be able to show that we're critical. we are critical of what we are researching. Right?
It's very hard for social science to become objectively. It's very hard. To become
Very hard.
objective.
Very hard. Yeah.
Always subjective push you.
Yeah. Subjective is pushing. Yeah. That's true. Right. So. So coming back to the sensing part, this is always the key, and it's always all the time doing sensing. You never switch off the sensing part. Always think, what are you trying to say? What is it? You're not sure, you ask. I always do that. Okay. So that's the principle of sensing. Yeah? To counter argue or not to counter argue, it depends on the sensing. You sense the energy of the examiner. Number 2, principle of the mighty coconut tree. Right. What do I mean by this? Again, to correct or not to correct. Let the wind blow if it's not, if it's of no or little impact. Right. So I have 2 cases. This is an example. This is a real experience that turned into principle. 2 of my students. Right. One of my students has been attacked. He's a Malaysian who's been attacked. One of my early students. Now he's a lecturer on one of the universities in Malaysia. He was attacked. He was being attacked by the examiner. Boom, 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 boom. And his answer was, yeah, it was my mistake. I'm willing to correct it. It was my mistake. I'm willing to attack it. Yeah, it's my weakness. I'm willing to correct it. Another student went from China. My first Chinese student, right? Every attack that comes in, she will fight back. She will fight back. She fight back, right? Okay, but they are both successful. Both are successful. Because they were doing sensing, right? Because she needed to fight. The examiner said, "Oh, she knows her stuff very well," because she can argue very well. Whereas the other student from Malaysia, the examiner said, "Well, she's very open-minded." But these are different Bible, right? Different sessions, different research, right? If they were to switch their style, they will be dead. Because the examiners here want him to defend, and he doesn't defend. He says, he becomes the mighty coconut tree. Let the wind blow. I'll take all the wind, and then I'll come back. I'll take all the wind. And that's number 2, right? Let the coconut tree, when the attack comes to you, you sense the attack, right? If it's an attack, if they want you to make changes, you sense, okay, this is a big change or small change. If they say, you have not identified this literature, you have not read this author, how come you did not read this author? Right? Oh, it's my mistake, I will include this. Right? One author, no problem. No, it's more problem. One correction you can make. And you say, well, this is a page correction. You say, okay, you're set again. No problem. So generally speaking, any correction that's not too hard, you accept it, right? Even though this is where I would argue that even though you might have some disagreement with what the person says, right? It's okay. Once you get your PhD, you can say whatever you want to say. Right? You know what? The other day, my examiner said this. I disagree with my examiners. I'm going to write an article about it. It's fine. You've got your PhD now. Right?
But please do not during Bible.
Not during Bible. During Bible.
Trial.
Yeah?
Trial.
Yeah. Just come here. Because the strange thing about Bible in social science is subjective, right? So if you're fighting a karate competition, you follow the karate gurus. They say you can block this way, you can block this way, you can block this way. You cannot punch at the heart, you don't punch at the heart. You follow the karate rules. So the rules here have been created by the examiners, right? But you say, well, no. I learned from Taekwondo that you can do a roundhouse kick this way, or you don't punch this way. Yong Chun say you punch linear, right? You don't punch this way. This is bad punching. This is how you punch, right? Tang sao gu sao, something like that, right? So you just say, okay, this is your rules. I follow your rules. Once I graduate, I'll create my own rules. Yeah. So that's principle number 2, right? If the mighty coconut tree, let the wind blow. If it's not too problematic, you just follow, right? That's point number 2. Point number 3, principle of clarity. So Principle clarity is about what I've said just now at the beginning. Right? Clarity helps the examiner, but more importantly helps you. So if they ask you what's the contribution of what's your theoretical contribution, you say, well, you are clear, there are three. So I said, use the idea of there are three things. So the Chinese say, Wu San Fu Chen Li.
Yeah, Wu
Right. Come up with three things. What's the significance of research? I mean, you can say 7 things, but it's hard to remember, right? There are a lot, but let me tell you, there's 5, or maybe there's 3. 3 is usually enough, right? But not necessarily always 3, right? Because if there's 1, you can only say 1, right? But have clarity. And for me, if you notice how I speak, I usually say 3, right? Sometimes I do not know what the third thing is, but by the time I reach to the second thing, I can think about my third thing, you know. But that helps. That helps by showing, oh, the person knows, Muhtadi knows what he's talking about, and he gives you that clarity. So when you go through your chapter, each chapter, and important part of the chapter, what's your methodology about? You are able to say, my methodology is about this, this, and this. I use, mainly 3 or 4 methods, this, and this. You need to be able to practice it in your mind. What's your research about? My research is about 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2. Be clear about that, right? So clarity. Think about all the possible answers. What's the limitation of your research? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, right? So clarity. So the clarity helps you to prepare. The clarity helps the examiners to say, I agree. The clarity helps you to convince the examiners. So instead of going all over the way, just do have use listing. You list 1, 2, 3. The essence of argument. So first is about the listing. The second is about, you need to be clear. Okay, my research is, what is my research is about? You need to really know what is about research. What is research is about? You really need to know what Muqtada Sadi is about. He is about this. This guy is about this. During this period, the essence is about this. So it's also like the flower thing. You know the essence, the crux, the gist. What the core thing. You always know about what the core thing is. The main arguments, right? So, and likewise, your PhD. What's the main argument of your PhD? Remember, it's called thesis. Thesis comes from the word thesis statement, right? Basically, the summary of the page or summary of a writing is a thesis, right? So that you will need to have clarity. So you need to have clarity of each part. You need to have clarity of your thesis. So understanding the essence of what you say, right? So you can be briefly or clearly or convincingly you explain your thesis, your problem statement, your methodology, your key finding, your contributions. Those things you need to know what the essence is, what are the listings, right? Those things and those things, right? But you can do more than that, right? Because in your case, Muhtadi, you have different findings, right? Yeah. So you need to know in each period what are the findings, right? What is it you want to convey in each period? You want to say, you want to tell them, the only 5 things you want to, the most important part is the only 5 things in this period. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you can there. Right? Now, is it challenging? It is challenging. That's why it's called PhD. Right? Yeah. And the more complex your work is, the more complex your preparation is as well. Right?
But that's very good to make it in my mind.
Yeah, your mind is clear. Yeah.
It's one picture.
It's one picture. Yeah. I have a student of mine, and now he's a professor now, right? Yeah. He is so good. So you will come in. He's like a politician. You come here. So the examiner asks, that question. Please look at page 37. Page 37. You can see page 37. This is what I say. He actually memorized it. So this is right? please look at chapter 2, my paragraph on this one. Wow, I was impressed too, right? He knows the stuff so well. So the examiner, okay, this guy is good, this guy is good. Basically, you're convincing the examiners that you're good, you're a scholar, right? So the examiners say, okay, this is a scholar. But of course, that's a particular type of examiner. There's some type of examiner very technical. Have you done your citations right? Your formatting is good or not? There's that type. One of the speakers you met during the colloquium last time. There's some of the speakers are like that. You can say that, right? Did you do this? The technical examiner, there's that type of the technical examiner. There's also the other type, right? This is a good scholar, let him pass. That's it. You convince them, right? That's easy. So that's another type. So the point I want to say there is about that you have mastered your work, right? You know your stuff. That's why you do say. Right? Okay, number 4, the principle of contribution of knowledge. This one, because it's a PhD, do not forget, it's about contribution of knowledge. So sometimes that will be the beginning question they ask. How have you contributed to knowledge? How have you contributed to the theory? So this is actually by itself a principle. Because advancing knowledge. By advanced knowledge, by answering your research questions. So you always go back to your research question, but I will talk about it later on, and connect back to the contribution of knowledge. So this is something you need to be able to say how you have contributed to knowledge, right? Number 5, principle of reaffirming. The thesis statement, the research question. So this is again connected to what I said in the beginning. All research is about answering research questions. So if you're not clear, if for instance, right, this examiner asks you a question, then you come up with another question, and then come up with another question, come up with another question. Then the examiner, oh, by the way, I also do not understand this, like this. So, oh God, you get drowned with all the attacks coming in. So what you do, you achieve clarity by reaffirming your research questions. My research is about this, this, and this. Right? My research is about. So your research question is the compass, right? So and your thesis statement. So my research has discovered this and this and this. Right? So as long as as I stated before, right, as long as your research questions are PhD worthy and your methodology, you have answered them according to methodologically correct method, and your findings connecting to the theory or literature, you have accomplished your mission as a PhD scholar. So research questions, go back to your research question. It always a compass. You get lost, you go back to the research question. You get lost, you go back to your research question. Right? Remember, like politicians, right? When reporters ask them this and this and that, they never say yes and no.
It's normative. Sometimes normative answer.
Normative answer, yeah. So by reaffirming, yeah, and then you will go back to the you go back to your research. So what is it? The question. So you, instead of answering the question, you rephrase, you come up with your own question, and your own question is actually a research question. Is the most important part. Right? Number 6, principle of aligning and redirecting. This is Tai Chi, right? So I'm confused with your work. This is really hard for me to understand. I said, yes, I agree very much. It's very hard for me to understand too. You know what? My supervisor feels that way too. And then they will start laughing, and they say, yeah. And I can come in and laugh too. So you diffuse the negative energy, right? So yeah, when Tai Chi, they don't fight using their own energy. They use the energy of the opponent. Yin Hua Jie Mu and all that. All the
use soft power to against the top.
The tougher, yeah. So you're using their energy to redirect to them. Yeah, I got to learn from that phrase as well. So aligning, if they say it's complex, you say it's complex. You know, you say there's a problem with it. I feel there's a problem with this as well. And one way to, if you really cannot answer, you say, you know, I've had this problem. I've talked to my supervisor about this problem, right? And we come up with this solution. You can say that. So I would take some of the blame. It's fine, right? If I would take some of the blame, I can become, I'm strong enough to take part of the attack, right? And so they usually do not attack me, right? Because we are colleagues, usually they don't attack me. They will attack the student and they attack me. So I can take some of the heat, so we can do that. If they say they're confused, they say it's simple, and they just say, we recognize their emotion, right? They do not say, no. They don't say no. No is fighting back, right? No is fighting back, right? So you seldom do you want to say no. You want to say yes, even though they disagree. And so, yes, it's a very important question. And then you can redirect, right? So number 7, principle of material preparation. Okay, here we go. So make a list of what you must bring and check before you leave. This one is about your own preparation. So today, go back later on. You make a list. You need to have your thesis. You need to have your laptop, whatever. You make a list, right? A checklist. So before you leave for tomorrow, you go through your checklist. You put aside your things, and before you go out from the house, you go to the checklist. You have this, and this. And otherwise you'll be, the day itself is like the fire brigade, right? Right? When there's fire, there's not enough time to think. What do I do, right? Seldom you don't have time to think, especially on that day, right? We're all like stress and all anxiety, right? That's why Bruce Lee said, you can only fight or think. You cannot do both, right?
Or
think. You cannot be, enemy come in, block number 7, kick number 2. You cannot do that. You do fight by instinct, right? When they come in, that's why Yong Chun is about sensing. You sense the energy and reflect back, right? You can never think and fight. You slow, right? So what helps?
Think before fighting.
So what you do is come up with a list, and the list helps you to prepare, right? So that's important. I know that this is not much more thing, but this is something that my father taught me. My father is a military man, so he say checklist is important. Checklist. Where's your checklist? So you see, I can have checklist up. Number 8, principle of presentation. Okay. There are like 3 or 4 possibilities during your viva, right? One possibility is that they allow you to make presentation, slide presentation, right? So it can be 10 minutes, it can be 15 minutes, it can be half an hour, right? Usually half an hour is seldom the case, right? Seldom the case. But I remember my Chinese student, my first Chinese student, give her 15 minutes, she just put up to half an hour. She's a fighting type, right? But it's okay because the exams are okay. So you prepare your PowerPoint, make sure you have PowerPoint, right? But you also get ready, so keep it short and put the extras at the back with some answers to expected and unexpected question. So you have, after terima kasih, after thank you, you have the remaining of your slides there, right? So put the slides in, even though you have a lot of slides, just put after thank you, right? And get those slides ready, right? Number 2, handouts. So what's handouts? Just in case, but this is usually useful when there are people around, right? When the examiners are around. But the examiners are not around, might be difficult hard. You print out, have a print out. I will print out. So example is okay. We have read your work, right? You just tell me what your you don't have to show me the slide presentation. I just you explain to me. I give you 5 minutes. Explain to me what your research is about your thesis. I prepared a handout for you. You just like give them a handout, so you can still refer to the handout. So you can say, oh, okay. So this is another trick. But finally, there are cases, very few, but there have been cases. I have seen these cases happening. They ask you just to make verbal presentation, right? But you need to be able to make this presentation oral. So no slide, no nothing, just you. So the 3 minutes thing is actually important to clarify that, right? You need to be able to do that. So it's like completely no material support, no things around you. Right? So there are 3 possibilities there, different scenarios. Right? Number 9, principle of mastery projection. This is an example I show you. This is about to show that you're master of your work. You're master. You have mastered it. You go in like a warrior. You're karate black belt, double done. You're something like that. Or you have become a master now. So the example I show you is where you know where the key pages are. We do not need to do what my student last time, who is now a professor now, know what where the pages are. But the research question you need to know in which page. The conceptual framework you need to know your conceptual framework. At least memorize it. But then you can also do the tab which you are doing there. Yeah. Okay. The issue is I remember some of my students. The tab are so many, it's hard to find. It's tab. It's like a ladder going up. You can become panic by looking which tab you look at. You so don't need to have too many tabs so that you cannot find which tab. Right? That is the tab there, right? So the key literature and the key figures physically bookmark your key pages, which is what you're doing there, right? But you need make sure the bookmark doesn't fall out.
Stick.
Huh? You put a sticker or something like that. Yeah. Okay. So the idea is to be able to to show that this is my thesis. I know my thesis. The worst part is that the conceptual framework is somewhere in here. Which page was it? That was terrible. That visual, that optic is bad. Where is it? I do not want that. Right? Yeah. So if you are not sure, one way is to go to table content. Right? So you can say, okay, I didn't memorize the page. Let me see the table content. Yeah. Give me 1 minute. Let me see the table content. Yeah. So mastery, the mastery projection. You show that you mastered your work. Number 10, principle of self-projection. It's how you dress up, you dress down. Usually in USM we do not have to put in suit and tie. Right? We don't have to. USM is a much more casual university. We don't have to suit and tie. I don't, unless I have some event. I don't do that. But I have one student, right, who feels more confident when he puts on a tie and a suit. Right? He's from a communication university, right? So, but he proves that he was right. That he actually his grading was lower, scale was lower, but the Viva improved his scale. So he went from 3 to 2. And some examiners gave him 3, some gave him 2, but eventually all gave him 2. He's a good communicator. He puts on tie and explains it well. Right? So he's from LSPR. So the public relations person. So they're good at that. I also put the fragrance, right? Now one of my students, or a couple of my students, one of them was from international house, Bhakti, where you eat your char kway teow and all that, where I met you and all that. So I won't mention the gender, right? The person walk all the way here for the Viva, right? At that time, the Viva is in IPS. Viva. So we can smell the sweat, the sweat, you know. Oh my God! So I said, okay, this is not good. This is not good, you know. So I usually have, what is it? I have a fragrance in my car, cologne or whatever. I actually carry one usually in my pocket too, right? So just in case, so I pass it to him or her. You gotta use this. You gotta use this. So I kind of force him or her to use it. Even though it's gender is slightly different, but you know. So this is important because it might annoy the examiner, right? Because you might, your armpit it might smell. You know what I mean? It's bad. You do not want that to be a problem. It's not a problem. You do not want it to be a problem, right? So, but don't overdo this. You don't want to create a headache for the examiner because you have so powerful that the cologne is so strong, right?
It's just attractive.
Yes, yes. The Prophet Muhammad used what's this? Minyak atar apa? Atar.
Atau
One particular minyak atar. The mask.
the misk, yeah.
Missing.
Misk.
To go on.
Oh, sorry.
It's from an animal. Kijang.
Misk.
Mask is a mask?
Yes, misk.
Is it?
Something like that. Misk from the deer.
From the deer, yes, okay, right. It's a mask, and it's one of the things that it's allowed for us to salat using that. So one of the things that Prophet Muhammad likes is actually aromas, nice aroma, and you use fragrance. Make sure the fragrance is not the pungent type, not the lemon, make people headache, right?
Yeah.
It's a soft type.
The soft, the soft type.
You know, there's a lemon citrus.
Yeah.
It's like
Making stomach. The orange.
The orange, and you like they call it refreshing. No, be careful. It's a very pungent. No, not that kind of. It's the lavender type, the soft, the flower type, the refreshing. So you want the jasmine type, basically, you need to smell good, or at least not to smell at all, right? Or if you have something that makes it relaxing, right? Okay.
Soft smell.
Soft smell, or no smell at all is fine too. Number 11. One of the research track that examiners use, sometimes the examiners you haven't read. You say, okay, what do you think the problem of your research is? What do you think the problem of your research is? You don't know what to say, right? Well, you start saying, well, the problem in my research is this, and this. Oh, okay. Then you go back and do this, and that. Right? So be careful with the track. Or you say, remember I asked the question, how would you improve your research? That's another track. How would you improve research? And they say, well, you go to future studies. Oh, that's future studies. No, not future studies. How would you improve your research? Remember, again, this is from a student from China, and there's a question posed to her, right? If you were to start all over again, to do your research, right? How would you do it differently? Oh no, I do not want to do my research anymore. If you start all over, I don't want to do research. So everyone laugh. So you want to diffuse that question, right? Or you can come up with some part that it is something that you cannot do or you won't do, right? Think about something, right? So how would you improve your research? I've been asking about that. I've been thinking about that question. I haven't asked my mother that question. I haven't found that question. I haven't found the answer yet. Don't answer that question, right? Do not try yourself, right? Do not try yourself, right? Maybe what I'll do. Maybe I will replicate this in Thailand or in Alaska or something like that. Something is impossible. You just avoid How do you improve your research? You do not answer that question, right? It's a trap question. I've been thinking about it, dream about it. I haven't discovered yet. You know, I pray. I haven't got the answer yet. Maybe one day Allah will give me the answer. You know, just
Inspired me.
And then you turn the question into a joke, basically, right? Okay. Then the last one, 12, is principal anticipation of points of challenge. Now, this is remember this is all this. I come to the point about correction, sensing correction, when to not to do correction. There's one point that you feel you need to challenge. What is it? When they ask you to do data collection, right? Oh, there's not enough data, which means you got to do resubmission. Number 4, you got to go back to the field and collect data. This is the part you must defend, that you do not need to collect data, that your data is sufficient, is reliable, and you want to be able to defend, right? This might be relevant to you, Mutadi. Now, you use the term historical research, right? Do you have the term historical sociology in your write-up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And also I gave example about the Karl Marx, Max Weber, Ibn Khaldun.
Ibn Khaldun, yes, yeah. Good. Okay. So you want to demonstrate to them that this is a historical sociology, not necessarily strictly historical research, because historical research, there's a lot of data, and there's a criteria for historical research. I think you need to have 60 to 70% primary data that has not been discovered before. It can be secondary research, but data that has not been processed before, right? But you say, no, I'm doing historical sociology, just following the historical sociology approach. Historical sociology, you're right, Karl Marx, Ibn Khaldun, Max Weber, right? These are historical sociology.
We study history by sociologically, not by historically. We're different from the historical subject.
This historical subject, yes. That's the point you want to argue. Right? So this is the point that you want to say. You want to defend. Right? This is not about accepting anymore. It's about challenging back. So that's the anticipation of points of a challenge. So you look at where is it in your thesis that can be challenged, and that's one of my job as a supervisor. So, and I've been telling you this is a tough thesis to find. So, and I think the framing of historical sociology will help, because none of them are historical. A lot of the sociologists now are not historical. I'm not a historical sociologist, because it's hard to become a historical sociologist, because you got so much work to do. Because there's so much work to do. Right? So, and I've told you, I haven't supervised anyone with historical sociology. Although, I mean, the closest one is Muzakir, because he was studying. He was reproductive as well. He was looking at the historical evolution of Muhammadiyah University. Even then, we reduced from 3 to 2, because there's so much material to look at, using this method, right? So that would save you from recollecting data, because the point of attack, I think, the anticipation of point of challenge, right, could be the different types of data that they want you to go and search. Again, if the data is simple, right, like some literature somewhere, go ahead and do it. A book that you haven't read yet, or they say, you haven't read this book yet, go ahead. You go and read, get the book and read, no problem. But I
remember in some proposal defense, Dr. Azmil, he suggested 2 books for me. I go ahead. I read it. And I applied.
That's fine. That's fine. And if during the Bible they ask you to do that, it's fine, right? But to go and collect data, of some kind of data that would imply resubmission, they will go for. Resubmission should also mean revival, right? That would be a tough one, right? So it was the case for. Remember, I told you there are 2 cases of my students at revival. The first student who bit arrogant. He was arrogant, behaving arrogantly. The examiner actually sat with me and said that the data needs to be tested, and because he was using SEM, PLS, SEM, the data was not tested with certain tests, so he need to redo the data and all that. Not the data, the variables, not the data. So when you do some statistical analysis, you got to test the variables. He did not test. So that was the situation that he needed to do. But thank God the examiner actually helped. The examiner whom he profiled to be a bad examiner, who happened to be the good examiner, who helped him. He was doing a racial profiling, by the way. There was the chairperson who was an Indian, another examiner is a Chinese, another examiner is a Malay, and all that. He's doing racial profiling. You don't do that. Anyways, this is the 12 principles. There's also extended Bible guidelines. You can look at them. So these are basically the principles to guide. So the rest of you as well. This is an early briefing for you for your Bible. Your Bible will be on the 18th, which is on
18th, I think
next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
I usually choose a Friday, right? First of all, it's berkat. The other thing is that Friday is short.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Everyone's okay, we gotta go. So that's one of my strategy, the Sun Tzu said strategy. Right? So when you have your weapons is enough to fight a certain time. You do not extend the war, right? You go in, kill enough and get up. You don't stay in and hang out, and then the people fight guerrilla warfare. The villagers will come out and fight. You go in enough, fight, they come out. So you have a long period. They say, well, you start at 9, you finish at 1, and then 4 hours there. That's bad. Okay. Do you have any questions? We can go for lunch.
No, I will just adjust my PowerPoint, and also I will focus on my thesis to read in details to just figure out maybe expect questions for examiners. And if you can do the next presentation and online together, if you can next week, just practicing. Also, I will practice.
And make sure it's 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
I will do this.
Because if you are given longer time, it's fine. But with 10 minutes, you got to be prepared for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I will follow this plan you gave to me. So in my mind. So sometimes in your mind, picture, but when you present this picture, it's different way.
Yeah, but I do think you have a strong thesis.
Yeah.
Right. The challenge is a complex problem, it's a complex methodology. But you have a strong thesis. Your thesis is strong. Otherwise, I would not allow you to submit. That's our strategy. Right? Go in strong. You don't go in weak. You go in where you're not sure. You have a strong thesis. Still, I'm saying that you will need to demonstrate the strength of your thesis. You need to demonstrate that.
Yes.
Yeah. They might get drowned with the complexity of the thesis. You want to show, look, this is a strong thesis. Why is it strong? This is how it's strong, right? They need to see you have, jet fighters, you have tanks, you have bombs, you have, aircraft carriers. You have all the. I'm ready. You don't have to fight me. I'm strong. That kind of thing. That's Sun Tzu say, right? The best general is a general who doesn't fight the war.
Yeah.
Strong enough that people are afraid to fight you. Yeah. Right.
First of all, if you have confidence.
Strong enough that the enemy, you don't fight with him.
Yeah.
Right. That's the best general, right? Not the general who the enemy wants to fight you. You're not necessarily a good general, right?
It's like 诸葛亮, the empty city that strategy. There is no power to prove the city, the whole city, but Zhuge Liang stands on the hill and said, "You go." And just like a nothing strategy. Because nobody to protect the whole city to protect him. But the enemy said, if Liang has no power, he will never say this. But he has done it.
Yes, no.
Yes. It's powerful, right?
So that's basically again, we are not going there as a going there as a humble person, not a general strategy is humble, right? General strategy is humble. Yes. Because
I try to be objective as much as I can. So maybe in my mind I'd be objective, but I scare about inconscience.
Yes.
Yes, inconscience. That's very. But
very strong. What Jane says, it's also a strategy by U.S. President, what is his name? Harry Truman. He said, "Carry a big stick, but speak softly."
Carry
big stick. Well, U.S. big sticks are nuclear weapons, right?
It's kind of charisma.
Smile.
Kind of charisma.
But at the back you have all the bombs already, right? So people say, okay. But you don't want to create enemies. You want to, people say, okay, I'm your friend, something like that. Right? Okay, Mutadi, so it looks like the whole session this morning is yours,
Thank you.
We dedicate to me, right? So and because we want to be thorough in the preparation as well, right? Let me see. Let me check something first before we adjourn. Was it helpful for the rest of you, the session?
Of course.
Yeah. Right. So, let me see. Oh, I'm going to share this with you all. Take a look at the picture.
Plant egg.
Yeah, that's from my home, my garden.
Oh,
Eggplant.
Yeah, I planted. Oh yeah, I planted that. I planted the.
You planted
That's
it.
the ulam.
The ulam as well. Yes.
Okra.
Okra and
It's Malaysian okra.
aubergine, yes.
Good.
So every morning, almost every morning, every morning, when for okra and aubergines, I will plant them.
So this is very good. Good energy.
Nutritious is
What is that?
nutritious.
Nutritious, of course.
So that's why you got up so early in the morning, right? You got up so early every day in the morning.
This is 8 o'clock. This is my 8 o'clock routine.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and during weekend is where I do planting and.
I wish that I have a garden to plant
Yeah.
vegetables.
لو حدا نستنى بس نشوف التواني هذه.
No, small.
You can cook that.
It's big. No, not that big. That's eggplant is about this type, right? About this big. But certain eggplant, when it's too big, it becomes old.
Centimeters, okay?
So mine is
This is tender, I think.
standard.
Yeah.
You
eat them all the day.
Well, almost all day. If I at home, I will eat the ulam thing. The ulam is continuous of course because it's always there. But there are others that today we didn't plant. There's also you see the one there. There's Brazilian spinach at the back. Brazilian spinach is the easiest to plant. The royal herbs, the curry leaf, the dill. Okay, we go for lunch and we start at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay.